May go Vanin, everybody, and welcome back to another stream. We're doing yet another Ranger Reading episode today. We are on episode 14, and thus we're going to be doing our standard reading through the book of Genesis and the Bible, followed by reading through more Encyclopedia Eorzea, which very excited for that today. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I am super excited to delve into both. Also, due to some recent developments, with my IRL job situation, I will probably have the rest of the week off from work. So due to that fact, we do have some changes to the schedule. I was originally thinking about trying to stream all day tomorrow, but I think I need to actually just take some time and focus on some IRL stuff tomorrow. So I will be doing a stream tomorrow. I do have my updated stream schedule, which I will probably... Actually, I could do it now. We'll do it now. Give me a second. I just finished it, so we're gonna show you guys now my updated stream schedule. But we will be streaming tomorrow evening, doing a mix of Wuhan Final Fantasy, and then all day on Friday, doing our normal Saturday stream, but on Friday. So that's gonna be fun. Also, welcome everyone to the chat, including Shadow and Wolfie. How you both doing? And Duck, of course. I hope you're all doing well. Okay, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. Actually, I could just straight up post this in my Discord. Yeah, we might as well do that. Why are you not loading Discord? What is wrong with you? There we go. Okay. We're just gonna post it in Discord and then share it on stream, so you all can see the schedule. Due to some updates to my current job situation, oops, did I post the right, yeah, I did. I posted the right stream schedule. We have updated our stream scheduled for the rest of the week. Please take a look. Smiley face. Okay. Okay. We are posting it now, and I will share it on stream. Okay. Once I get this set up on my end. Hold on, everybody. Sorry for the wait. Okay. Switch to this. I should have removed the stream from yesterday. I didn't think about that when I was editing this, but oh well. Anyway. Oh, why is that showing my background? What the heck? There we go. Okay. So, updated stream schedule for the week. Ignored the Tuesday one. I should have deleted that because we ended up not being able to stream yesterday because of stuff going on with my job. But yeah, so we have a Ranger readings tonight, and then tomorrow we will be at 8 p.m. streaming some Wuthering Waves in Final Fantasy XIV. Followed by, on Friday, we will be doing an all-day stream starting around 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and we will be doing a mix of Final Fantasy XIV and Total War, maybe some other games, maybe some Wuwa. Who knows? We might throw more in there, as usual, for Saturday stream, but it's not on Saturday. This time it's Friday, because I have to help one of my friends move on Saturday, and we probably will hang out after the move, so I will be busy all day on Saturday. So no Saturday, but we will be doing our Saturday on Friday. So that will be this week's scheduling, so make sure you all stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun. All right, on that note, we are now going to get started on the Ranger reading stuff, so I'm going to get that set up now. So stand by as I get all the cameras set up and whatnot for that, and we will get started on that. And also, I am doing great, Wolfie. How are you? Been a little stressed out recently, just because I'm in the middle of trying to find a new job, since my current job is pretty much shutting down at the end of the month, so I'm crunching on the job hunt. But outside of that, I'm doing okay. So, also, new Cyberpunk collab was absolute peak cinema, and you all should play it in Wuthering Waves. Absolutely amazing. Legitimately the best video game collab I have ever seen. It is that good. It is that good. And I thought nothing would beat Nier Automata and Final Fantasy XIV for me, but no, this one was just out of the park. It was a home run on every level. So, yeah, top tier. Highly recommend playing it if you haven't already. And yeah, okay. We are going to transition to our physical IRL form, so stand by as we do that right now. Okay. It is me, Gremlin Alurin, your old friend, back again. Or something like that. But we are here, and we are ready. At least I think I'm ready. Am I ready? Oh, there we go. That's what I need to activate. Right there. And we have camera control. Hello, everybody. It is time for another range reading episode. We got the books, we got the camera, we got the arms, fingers, we got the action. And yeah, we're ready to get started. So, without further ado, I think we'll begin and get this going. Starting with the good old 1599 Geneva Bible. And we will be reading. I know last week we read about the Tower of Babel, which I had an interesting story I talked about with that because of something that happened last time. And last week, last episode, I should say. Which, yeah, we are on episode 12 today, which is after the story of the Tower of Babel in the Bible. So we will be reading that. I also have figured out, by the way, the next two books I will be reading. So that'll be fun. But anyway, Genesis chapter 12. For the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and... Wait, oh, so it just starts right... Hold on. No, yeah, we did end the last chapter with that, right? Because the Tower of Babel is like the first half, and the second half is how that leads into Abraham's story. Right. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. Okay. Genesis chapter 12. For the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house unto the land that I will show thee. And I will make thee a great nation, and will bless thee, and will make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. I will also bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed, even as the Lord spake unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old, and when he departed out of Haran. Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their sustenance that they possessed, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they departed to go to the land of Canaan, and to the land of Canaan they came. So Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem? If I said that right. Unto the plain of Morah, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto thy seed I will give this land. And there built he an altar to the Lord, which appeared unto him. Afterward, removing hence unto a mountain eastward from Bethel, he pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west side, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto the Lord, and called on the name of the Lord. Again, Abram went forth and journeyed toward the south. Then there came a famine in the land. Therefore Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for there was a great famine in the land. But when he drew near to enter into Egypt, he said to Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it will come to pass that when the Egyptians see thee, they will say, She is his wife, so they will not kill me, they will keep thee alive. Say, I pray thee, that thou art my sister, that I may fare well for thy sake, and that my life may be preserved by thee. Still a stupid decision, by the way. Now, when Abram was coming to Egypt, and the Egyptians held the woman, for she was fair, and the princes of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her unto Pharaoh. So the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house, who entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep, and beeves, and asses, and manservants, and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his wife with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. Then Pharaoh called Abram and said, why hast thou done this to me? Wherefore didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Why sayest thou, she is my sister, that I should take her to be my wife? Therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh gave men commandments concerning him, and they conveyed forth and his wife and all that he had. Yes. One thing about the Bible is people that are very well known in the Bible, it does not shy away from showing their stupid actions. But no one is perfect, and that is very true for all of humanity as a whole. But all we can do is learn from our mistakes, forgive each other, and move on. So, anyway, that is our Bible reading for today, and following that is Encyclopedia Eorzea. We're going straight through. What are we reading today in this? I forgot where we left off. Oh. Oh, right. Charlene Part 1, because Part 2 is in a later lore book. How many pages do we have for this? Not many. This is going to be a quick read today. Okay, and then next time we do El Amigo. Charlene. Oh, boy. A shining seat of knowledge, Charlene stands upon the archipelago in the northern seas. A colony of the same name once flourished in the Dravanian hinterlands, and numbered among the 6 city-states of Eorzea, prominent in the later half of the last era. However, its halls stand empty, as the sons and daughters of the nation have been called homewards. Now Charlene watches the turning of the world, but refuses to change the course of its events. I should say this is more about old Charlene, because... Actually, is it even old Charlene? No, wait. That moment when I read out loud, but my brain doesn't comprehend fully what I'm reading out loud. Because it does say at the beginning it's talking about the islands to the north. Yeah, okay. So this is more about the abandoned new Charlian, whereas the old Charlian is the one that's still populated. Okay, makes sense. Flag. When Thaliak poured the waters of knowledge into his river, the spiral shell became their keeper. Such is the legend wherein the Nautilus came to symbolize wisdom. In addition, men have believed that mollusks live forever from time immemorial. It is to capture the essence of these meanings that Charlene's flag bears a green spiral shell emblazoned upon a field of silver. Motto: knowledge seeks no man. Government. When Charlene had but few inhabitants, all adults came together in the ecclesia to speak their mind upon the decisions of the nation. As their numbers grew, they have come to elect to the forum those officials who they feel best represent the will of the people. The speaker of the forum serves as the head of the state, but his power is greatly restricted by law. Charlene is led by a government of the people for the people. There is no one leader. Sounds familiar. The highest body in the nation, members of this gathering are elected through votes cast by their fellow Charlians. Racial distribution? Unknown. Note, though its citizens are diverse, Charlene does not make population statistics public in the interest of equality. Although, if anyone has played Endwalker, they know that they are predominantly Elizan. But, yes. Although there is a little bit of everything in there. But Elizan is slightly in the majority. Religion. The people of Charlene came together in the pursuit of knowledge. The city itself has raised to aid in this endeavor, and in the process, Thaliak was named the guardian deity. However, the choice had less to do with pious worship than the creeds of the Charlians. Thus, little importance is placed upon religious rites, and many pray to others among the 12. Industries. Ethereal technology. Through long years of studying aether and magic, Charlian scholars have mastered the secrets of traversing the life stream through aetherites. Indeed, by building and maintaining Eorzea's Ethernet, they have secured a steady source of foreign currency, which also you see them experimenting with in Endwalker. Publishing. With scholars and archons penning discourse upon discourse, it is no surprise that the city had a robust publishing industry. These learned treatises are prized by Eorzean academics and artisans who willingly pay great sums to learn of Charlian's latest findings. Education. Starting with the prestigious studium, Charlian has numerous famed academics that study students from all nations. In times past, Eorzea pupils eagerly flocked to Charlian settlements in the Dravinian hinterlands from all corners of the realm. There, they studied a multitude of objects from different fields, though it seems that instructors reserved certain wisdom for those of Charlian citizenship alone. Beliefs. For greater purpose, Charlians seek to gather the knowledge of the world and preserve it for posterity in the pages of the oh goodness, what is this word? Bibliotheca Historia? Ugh. I don't even know if I said that right. They convert the unknown and unexplored, and put great value upon education, in part as a gathering of like-minded fellows. They also abhor bloodshed, find war barbaric, and would never dream of allowing their wisdom to be used for martial purposes. As such, they guard closely all knowledge they deem dangerous. Diet. As one might expect, food is oft taken as an object of study, and Charlian is rumored to hold countless tomes, detailing fare from all over the world. However, the delicacies they create are for strictly academic purposes, and not for anything as base as eating. The everyday fare of the city is good for the body, but otherwise quite bland. Accordingly, many groans can be heard from foreign students come mealtime. Yeah, which is the funny joke that I had when I started Laha Roy's story in Wuthering Waves, that literally, when it comes to food, the Laha Roy Academy and the Charlian Studium are exactly the same. We're just like, oh, you want good tasting food? Nah, we gotta give you that all those nutrients. Gotta have that Archon loaf, man. Ugh. But yeah, one similarity there between Final Fantasy XIV's Charlian and Wuthering Waves is Laha Roy. Anyway, history. A journey south. Legendary figures known as the 12 Archons are widely believed to have saved a great many Eorzean lives during the 6th Umbral Calamity. Yunkemfisfin, or however you say that name, a towering giant of Erogaden from beyond the northern wastes, was one among this band of heroes. He foresaw the coming of the floods through astrology, and unable to stand idly by, made a great ship of wood, and set out upon a voyage for Eorzea with a crew of volunteer sailors. Along the way, Nunkemp's men rescued many souls set adrift on the seas. Yet as they drew nearer to the goal, they spied a giant tidal wave bearing down upon them. Knowing his vessel would be torn to splinters by the force of the water, Nunkemp made a desperate decision. He cast a powerful and ancient magic over the ship, knowing not where they would arrive. Thus the crew and many refugees aboard found themselves teleported away from certain death and perched precariously in Abatha Spine, in the area we'll be reading about next, aka, if I can turn the page, Alamigo. The long descent. Though those aboard Nunkemp's ship found momentary succor, they were not alone in the mountains. Many other refugees had fled Abatha's Spine with little more than the clothes upon their backs, and what little sustenance they brought quickly ran out. As their hunger grew, their civility fell away. They became little better than snarling savages, fighting and killing for what little food the peaks offered. From within his ship, Nunkemp watched with grief as precious lives were snuffed out by the barbarism. Knowing those he had saved would die if they tarried in the region, he and his followers fled as soon as the rains had abated. He led them unto the Dravanian hinterlands, where they built a new ship. Wow, that's a long distance. Though the seas remained rough and tossed them about, they nevertheless safely reached the isles in the northern seas. Having returned home, then Kempf and the survivors set about building a small settlement. This humble village would grow into the mighty city of Charlian. Interesting history. Man, so they go from Alamigo all the way to Charlian. Dang. Wow. A new center of knowledge. The sixth Umbral era passed, and the sixth Astral era dawned. Nunkemp's village had already advanced greatly by the start of this glorious new age, and had expanded enough to rightly be called a city. The citizens of the newly named Charlian had pledged themselves to Ninkemp's teachings, to forever renounce war and walk in the light of wisdom and reason. For a split second, my brain thought they were going to say renounce war and walk in the light of the crystal, but I blame Final Fantasy 16 brain there that took over for a second. Walk in the light of the mother crystal. Anyway, this spirit was evident in the city's governance. Every adult was given a voice in decisions affecting the nation's future through the great gathering known as the Ecclesia. Here, peers would discuss and debate until some consensus emerged, a system that many scholars have since called enlightenment. In fact, it was the Ecclesia that Charlians voted to elect Thaliak as their patron deity. The city flourished under the motto of knowledge seeks no man, and a number of academies sprung up, allowing its people to expand their minds through scholarship. Of particular note was the Studium, founded in 432, instructing pupils in everything from ethereal studies to astromancy. It encouraged them to learn about both the arcane and the occult, and has produced a great many archons over the ages. The Studium has made numerous discoveries that have helped Eorzea as well, including the lost secrets of travel by Aetheryte. And then there were 6. That's an interesting title. In 1311, the scholars of Charlian crossed the seas to the Dravanian hinterlands, and there built an outpost to study the ethereal sea. This became a stop for all academics who ventured to Eorzea to conduct their research, and a hostelry was constructed for long-term tenure upon foreign shores. The small collection of buildings grew more numerous, and in time it became a handsome settlement. Rumor of this community of learned men spread, and students began to converge upon the place from every corner of Eorzea. They sought the wisdom of scholars, and their number began to swell. In 1361, upon the 50th anniversary of the research outpost, the Forum formally proclaimed it a colony. With this, the Charlian settlement joined the 6 city-states in Eorzea. Please, unanswered. The Dravanian hinterlands attracted students from all across Eorzea and grew as a beacon of knowledge and wisdom. Yet this was not to last. In 1557, tidings that Garlemald had captured Alamigo reached the city. To the Charlians, the empire was a threat to their very way of life. They had spent an age stubbornly resisting all war, and the imperial invasion of Ilsabard and Othard was a bane to the values they'd held since Ninkemp's time. Charlians sent ambassadors to Garlemald with entreaties to stop their advance. They even strove mightily to parley a peace, but all these plans fell upon deaf ears, and the envoys returned home empty-handed. In the wake of the failed negotiation, Fortunel Levier and the faction he led within the Forum elected to forsake their colony. Following 5 years of elaborate and painstaking preparation, the plan to evacuate the colony's entire population to the northern archipelago of their homeland was put into motion. In 1562, the city of Charlian became a maze of empty streets and buildings in the space of a single evening. Dang. Yeah, and all of them went to the place you go later in Endwalker. Organizations. The Forum. In his wisdom, Nunkempf saw that each citizen of the Charlian be allowed a voice in matters of their community. By around the 150th year of the 6th Astral Era, however, the city had expanded considerably. In the Ecclesia, too many voices clamored in debate, and reaching consensus on anything, no matter how small, seemed to take an age. Though it was clear a new system was needed, the Charlians clung adamantly to their traditions, changing them as little as possible. This met with failure, as in 201 they decided upon a new name of governance. Now the nation would be led by the Forum, a body of 99 members. Each Charlian of age would cast a vote to elect members from among his peers. In its early days, the forum met in a public square from which its present name is taken. Interesting. Fortunault Levier. As Charlians, it is our task to observe, to chart the course of history, not to change it. The eldest son of Archon Louis-Sois Levier, Fortunault is a powerful member of the Forum. He has carried a deep respect of Charlian's founding father Ninkemph throughout all his 40 years, eschewing war as the pursuit of barbarians alone and seeking advancement through wisdom and reason. As such, the Wildwood Ellison often disagreed with his father, particularly when latter established the Circle of Knowing for the specific purpose of safeguarding Eorzea's future. Later became the Signs of the Seventh Dawn, by the way. Nonetheless, Fortunault respects people's right to make their own decisions, and did not attempt to bar the way when his sire and children wished to leave for Eorzea. As with the rest of his house, Fortunault is a talented mage. He is also a formidable intellect, and can read learned discourses at high, unparalleled speed. Dang. Sylvester Albright. Who are you? The barbarians of this realm have shown that they can only use knowledge to destroy each other. A powerful member of the Forum, Sylvester is the 38-year-old leader of the Bibliotheques, a group of conservative fundamentalists who believe that Charlians should observe and record history without raising so much as a finger to intervene. Wait, is this the guy from the Sage Quest? It can't be. Naturally, the acts of the Circle of Knowing and Signs of the Seventh Dawn have drawn his harshest censure. The Midlander also held that knowledge with the potential to change history's course should never leave Charlian's control, let alone be given freely. Thus, he has attempted to stop with force Lavenna, daughter of foremost astrologian... Oh, it's the astrologian quest. Daughter of foremost astrologian Mace Brudier, and others who seek to spread the Charlian school of astrology on foreign shores. Okay, he was that guy. I like how both the Sage Quest and the Astrologian Quest have, like, bad people from the forum. It's kind of funny. So, like, you will be destroyed for spreading knowledge. It's funny. Archons. Charlian does not bestow the title of Archon upon each and every wise man. Indeed, it is said that only those who have demonstrated an exceptional knowledge of their respective subjects and made a great contribution to their fields are selected and certified. Those who rise to Archon have an arcane pattern etched upon their skin, thus distinguishing them from normal folk with a single glance. Apparently, there are more benefits attached to this position than one might suspect, not the least of which being free access to foreign tomes. Research. And all of the members of the Signs of the Seventh Dawn are pretty much Archons, which is pretty cool. Latoya. I don't care much for politics. Too much talk and not enough action. Oof. An eccentric woman of the Midlander clan, Matoya's age is unknown, and will betide any who ask, though her obstinacy is the stuff of legend, as many who meet her well know. She is nonetheless a prominent and brilliant Archon, and is marked by as such by a tattoo on her left cheek. She is also in possession of an ancient crystal of light known as the Crystal Eye, a relic that allows one to peer deeply into the ether. Matoya has long studied the world from the perspective of ether, and her pupil Y'shtola, oh boy, Y'shtola, wonder who that could be, continues on in spirit of this research. Matoya will neither depend upon nor curry favor with anyone, as she firmly believes one must see the world as it is to understand its mysteries. She does have her pride, however, and this sometimes leads her to give harsh tongue lashings to her pupils. Indeed, the day she begins to remember her students fondly will be the day that her work ends. Oof. Ouch. Matoya also has an interest in herbal infusions and drinks copious amounts of the stuff, sometimes upward of 7 cups a day. Oh man, I'm just imagining Matoya just like chugging potions. Oh no. The Dravanian Hinterlands. The Dravanian hinterlands sit in the northmost reaches of Abatha's spine, blessed with relatively lush vegetation due to the waters carried through the area by the mighty Thaliac River. This region attained some fame as the seat of Charlian's colony, but this has faded in the 15 years since the Exodus. The settlement itself now largely stands unoccupied, remnants of a lost time slowly being reclaimed by the land. The Maker's Quarter. The Maker's Quarter was once the home of artisans, and the sounds of their labor rang out from the diverse workshops that lined the streets. Her craftsmen had their pick of the best finds from the Collector's Quarter, and transformed these materials into a fantastic variety of wares. The Archetycon? I have no idea how to say that. Once home to Charlene masters who fashioned aetherites within its halls, this workshop is now home to the Illuminati, a nasty band of goblins who would wield the ancient technologies within for their own nefarious ends. Oh no. The Daggers. An area of the hinterlands where clusters of stone columns shaped like daggers protrude from the earth. The scholars of Charlene had long been engulfed in a heated debate over whether the name was too simple and colloquial? Okay, that's the word. But a different one was never decided upon as the proposals began to exceed the columns in number. Oh, jeez. The Collector's Quarter. From miners to botanists to fishermen, the Collector's Quarter was home to those who gathered the bounty of the land. It is said that goods from every corner of the realm stocked its stalls, and that this section of the city was constantly abuzz with customers because of it. Big West Shortstop. Big West Shortstop was the first encampment of the goblins who made their way into the interior of the Dravanian hinterlands. It was their base of operations while they raised the settlement of Idleshire, and now serves as the lookout post once to watch for signs of the dread Illuminati. Oh no, not the Illuminati. The Answering Quarter. This Charlene settlement stretches across the western banks of the Thaliac, home to St. Moine's Abatorium and a center for education and scholarly pursuits. It harkens back to the cities of learning that flourished in bygone times. St. Moine's Abatorium. This botanical garden, built by the Charlenes, once was home to fauna and flora collected from all across the realm, the study of which yielded numerous discoveries regarding our natural world. Sadly, it was abandoned in the Exodus, the teeming life within left to run wild and unchecked, which is later a dungeon you can do, by the way. The Asulian, which is also this picture at the bottom right here. The Asulian's name indicates holy ground. It was a place devoted to allowing the inquisitive mind to explore free from the obligations of everyday life. Once inside its doors, there was a decree concerning one to forget all titles and positions from the outside world, or so it is said. Interesting. The Ruling Quarter. Situated upon a plateau to the south, elegant homes and villas aplenty stood within the ruling quarter. It is apparent that therein dwelt those in leadership positions, from members of the forum to celebrated scholars and archons. Quick Spill Delta. For want of a keeper, the flood control of Charlene failed after the people's exodus back to their homeland, and the waters eventually overflowed. As they run swiftly through a triangular area of land, the area has been named by local goblins the Quickspill Delta. Matoya's Cave. One does not simply walk into Matoya's quiet and secret home. I see you, Square Enix, with the Lord of the Rings reference. Gosh dang it. For freaking Matoya, too, of all things. Wow. The cave's mouth is disguised as a wall of rock, and those who carelessly draw too close will be attacked by her Porogo familiars. Nearby is the Mushroomy, where she grows all manner of fungi to be used in her castings. Oh no, not the fungi. The Path of Knowing. This colossal bridge was once a bustling artery for researchers, students, and curators, commuting to and from the Great Google Library. Its stone pillars suffered significant damage when the calamity reshaped the land, causing a portion of the walkway to crumble and collapse. And speaking of which, the Great Google Library right here at the bottom, on the right. A massive library constructed by the Charleans to house the wealth of knowledge they had amassed in their travels across the realm. Though the vast majority of the tomes that once lined its shelves were carried back to the motherland in the Exodus, it is said forbidden texts still slumber in sealed-off vaults below. Alexander, summoned by the Illuminati, the secretive fraternity of goblin scholars. This primal appears as a colossus made of steel and breathing steam. Good old Alexander. Oh boy. The tipped ewer. The spot where the melted snows of Abatha's spine flow emerge from their source to descend down the mountain, forming the countless tributaries that come together as the mighty Thaliac River. The name is said to come from the deity whose name the river bears, and the magic pitcher from which poured the waters of knowledge. And then we get good old Idleshire. Oh boy, here we go. It's Gobby time. After the chance meeting of Snow Fix's goblins and Midnight Dew's treasure hunters, the two factions were locked in conflict for a time. Once they reached a peace, however, they became the most stalwart of companions, and together raised Idleshire, a libertarian base of those who value freedom above all else. Prologue and Epilogue Gate. If the cenotaph were the spine of a book, then the gates to the east and west would be the prologue and epilogue. Hence the names of these two main egresses of Idleshire. The cenotaph. A towering monolith erected in tribute to the great scholars who have passed on, leaving behind knowledge that reshaped the realm. The names of countless men of learning are etched into the mighty stone, along with the motto of Charlian. Oh! It's knowledge seeks no man, and knowledge seeks no woman on the rear, but in the Eorzean language. Interesting. That's kind of cool. Good to know. Can you see that on the art on the previous page? Oh, yeah, you can. Right under the symbol on this page. Right here. That's kind of cool. It's hard to see on the stream, but that is pretty cool. The Orn Wild. A primeval forest that stretches across the northern reaches of the Dravadian hinterlands, its rich verdure sustained by the pristine waters of Thaliac. Nigh untouched by the hands of man, its wilds stand between those who would make their way to Charlian without braving a trek across the forelands. Oh, and that's the area that you can't go to in the game, but you can see it off into the distance. Interesting. Huh. Stickquix's Bangpots. Stickquix, chief of Idleshire's goblin craftsmen, builds this expansive workshop solely from materials gathered from the ruins of Charlian. Inside is a large furnace, wherein he forges various and sundry goods from metal. His goblin brethren gave the place its name because one could oftentimes hear the sounds of explosions echoing from its sooty halls, which is this picture on the bottom left here, and above it is the picture of the Orn Wild that you can see in the distance in the game. Cool. Okay. Rowena Center for Cultural Promotion. Oh no, not Rowena. Using funds earned from her House of Splendors branch in Revenant's Toll, the merchant Rowena began the reconstruction of this half-collapsed building left abandoned by the Charlians 15 summers past. Though it opened under the grandiose slogan dedicated to nurturing the growth of the arts and culture, it is, in truth, little more than another of the shrewd entrepreneur's many commercial ventures. Of course. Of course it is. Pictured right here, by the way. The Free Walks Round Spot. The Free Walks Round Spot was established as a market wherein independent merchants, treasure hunters, and adventurers could peddle their wares as they pleased. Apparently, one may even see the old retainer in the market, either to accomplish some errand for her demanding employer. Oh no. Yep, that's the market in Idleshire. Pictured right here. And then we get Rowena's House of Splendors. Oh dear. Okay. Under Rowena's guidance, the House of Splendors sells rare and ancient relics procured by adventurers to wealthy scholars, and turns a tidy profit. Of course, it is also well known to adventurers themselves, who oft find high-quality arms and armor upon its shelves. The house fervently seeks tomestones, oh no, Ancient elegant technologies, which look nothing like nothing more than ordinary stones, yet house a treasure trove of information on everything from politics to mythology to lore. There are even rumors that information gleaned from the tomestones is used to create new goods. Wow. Tomestones. I, there always is never enough tomestones. Can't wait for that to change down the road, by the way. Rowena. Perhaps you heard of me. Perhaps you've not. Matters little, I suppose. Once a weapons merchant in Olda, Rowena worked to make friends in all the right places, and was soon able to shift her focus to antiquities. Though this brought her great fortune, she remains entirely single-minded in her pursuit of wealth. In this regard, she sees little difference between people and goods, and has lured many a brilliant tradesman and merchant into her service with the irresistible promise of coin. There are rumors that the Midlander woman wishes to one day make a foray into the world of Uldan politics, though Rowena herself has not made these intentions clear. At some point in the past, she seems to have been married to Geralt, the realm's foremost weaponsmith. Oh no. However, she is unwed at present and means to stay so. As to her age, one can only guess, as a lady never tells. The same can be said of her surname, a secret she, for some unfathomable reason, keeps tight to her bosom. Treasure hunters. Those who take to hunting of treasure will zealously brave ancient ruins and uncharted lands in order to find their prizes. Oftentimes they do this alone, or with a handful of boon companions. The treasure hunters of Idleshire are different. Many were drawn to the Travanian hinterlands by the promise of Charlian artifacts left after the Exodus. However, in the face of monsters, hostile goblins, and other arcane entities, they struck up a temporary fellowship. After making peace with Slow Fix's goblins and raising the settlement of Idleshire, they have remained together and taken to governing their home in tandem with their new Beastman brothers. I can't think of the word Beastman the same after playing Total War Warhammer. Gosh dang it. Midnight Dew. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you brought here. As long as you can help out, you're good in my book. A leader of the people in Idleshire, Midnight Dew has a reputation as an experienced treasure hunter. She came to the Travanian hinterlands with several of her trusted compatriots, and was quick to realize the dangers presented in the area. It was under her auspices that the treasure hunters banded together, an event that eventually led to negotiations with the goblins and establishment of the settlement. Having seen 29 summers, Midnight Dew has an affectionate disposition, and does not shy away from assuming a matronly role when it comes to the care of others, traits that have earned her the trust of Idleshire's eccentric inhabitants. However, she's also a proud woman of the Hellsguard, and a skilled pugilist. She is even known to have won her own share of purses from prize-fighters in Ulda, though it is rumored that the lion's share of her winnings was used to aid in her sizable collection of jewelry. Oh, no. And finally, Slow Fix's Gabbyflock. Oh, this is bringing back memories. Toward the end of the 6th Astra era, Slowfix led his Gabbyflock on a pilgrimage traditionally undertaken once every 50 summers. They narrowly missed the destruction of the 7th Umbral Calamity and returned to Eorzea a few years past, settling in the Travanian hinterlands after their long journey. By creating a permanent home, they sought to escape the travails of life on the road. Charlian suited their purposes well. It had rummage aplenty to be repurposed, access to fresh water, and large quantities of fish, and an acceptably mild climate. Alongside the treasure hunters, they seek to create a free nation of Idleshire. However, the nearby Illuminati threat ever looms over their endeavors. Dun 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 dun. Slow fix coin toss. Idleshire has one important rule. Always respect friends. If we all obey this rule, one day Idleshire become great city. And squaw. I have to do my goblin noise. The founder of Idleshire, Slowfix, serves as a figurehead for the goblins of Idleshire. He was once a wanderer who would pay for his travels through the collecting and refashioning Refashioning of junk salvaged in the wild. There we go. During his roaming, he saw how folk lived within cities, and felt a strong draw toward this decidedly ungoblin-like lifestyle. Thus, once he had completed his pilgrimage, he began to search for the location where he could forge his own nation. Sulfix's mask is made of dull bronze, and has been handed down through generations of his family. Now that he has seen 41 winters, he is considering passing it on to his daughter Roundrox, who has been slow to warm to the notion of donning her father's reeking namesake. Oh no. Sulfix is also a master at goblin gambling games, and it can be found throwing dice when other matters require his attention. Oh no, he's a gambler. Okay. And that is Idleshire, which ends our Encyclopedia Eorzea reading for today. And next time we read about Alamigo. How much do they even have on? Oh, 1 page. And then we have the Garlean Empire. The Garlean Empire. The Garlean Empire. Okay. Yeah, we're just reading a very short one next week. We're gonna read Alamigo next week because after that, it looks like Garlean Empire is like 10 pages long. Good gravy, Garlean Empire, and I know that's not even everything that Garlean Empire has about it, because there'll be probably more in later Encyclopedia Eorzea books. Oh gosh. Anyway, that was a 30-minute episode of Ranger readings. That might be a new record for the fastest Ranger reading episode. Wow. Huh. Is this a moment where I ask chat if we should do a longer stream? What do you think, chat? Should I stream something else? Should I do an impromptu stream of some Final Fantasy or something? What do you think? We could do some Wuthering Waves, Total War. I don't know. Possibilities, man. Okay. I don't know. Do we just end it here? Do we just have like the shortest Ranger reading episode ever? Hmm. Hmm. You know what? Let me check something. I'm gonna determine this based on one single reason. We're gonna check something, chat. Hmm. Well, there is a Final Fantasy streamer we can raid, so unless anyone says something in chat in like the next 60 seconds to convince me to keep streaming, I think we might just end here, have a unusually short Ranger reading episode. And then tomorrow evening, I will be streaming a bunch of Wuthering Waves and Final Fantasy 14. Woohoo! And then obviously we have our whole day stream on Friday, so that will be fun. But yeah, I think we are going to raid Emery, who is currently doing some raiding in Final Fantasy 14, without further ado. So yeah, I think we'll end this range reading episode here. Unusually short. Next week's will be short as well, because we only have to read about Alamigo, and then the episode after that will be probably one of our longer ones, because holy crap, Garlean Empire. But yeah,